Hello YouTube! I interrupt your usual intro for my video today to bring you a tale of tragedy, loss, and regret. So here's how it went. I was running to the washroom, right, because I really needed to pee. I was gonna explode if I didn't go to the washroom. I was hurrying. Now, how the washroom is constructed in this place is that there's two washrooms, right? There's one right in front of me right there, and there's a one on the left. And that washroom has slightly better quality, like a toilet and a mirror. So I decided to go there. But getting there, you had to pass a space that was approximately 2 feet. Now imagine you're running and you had to go to the washroom. You weren't thinking about anything other than the fact that you had to pee, and your 3DS is in your pocket. Now you folks could already kind of guess what happened, right? So what happened is I was running to the washroom and my 3DS in my pocket hit the edge of the table, and it hurt like heck. Now imagine the force of the impact if me hitting the table was enough to hurt me. Imagine how much my 3DS was damaged in this case. So after I peed, I was just casually fixing my hair and I opened my 3DS to look at the time, right? And I looked down on my 3DS in horror. There are cracks on my 3DS from left to right. And you know that sort of liquid that allows the pixels on a screen to work? It was not in place. It was let loose, and it's all over the screen of my 3DS. Here's how it looks right now. It's gotten even worse. So I'm like, okay, that's it. I'm gonna buy a freaking capture card. So I'm gonna have to wait like 3 to 4 weeks for my new 3DS to get here. But in the meantime, I'm gonna still upload great Pokemon content to my channel. I'm thinking like Pokemon Showdown, and I'm gonna show you guys a really funny team. Looking at my team, I have a pretty solid team. I have Rhyperior, Jellicent, and Cyrogan as my defensive Pokemon, and my Bravery, my Jellicent, not Jellicent, what's the thing called? That jelly, like, amoeba thing? And my Mega Sceptile is my offensive Pokemon. Looking at Database team, he looks like he has a pretty, dangerous team as well. He doesn't have any Rapid Spinners, so, getting up rocks would be something really good for me because residual damage on the opposite team is always good. The thing that really messed me up in this game is my misplays, and you'll see, it happens right away. So, he sets up Jellicent right here, and out comes the shiny Pringles guy. That thing really does look like the Pringles guy, doesn't it? Like, he has the mustache and everything. Anyways, I just lead off with my Bravery just so he can get off a U-turn on anything. And Bravery threatens a large portion of his team, so I do that. I go for a U-turn, I go into Jin, expecting him to go for some sort of Skull or something. But he goes for the Ice Beam, and I'm like, oh, Face Bomb! What a horrible misplay. Of course he was gonna go for the super effective move versus my Bravery, and that would be Ice. And it's still super effective versus my Sceptile, so that's my first misplay right here. And then I Mega Evolve into my Mega Sceptile. Now my thinking here is that he is expecting for me to go for the grass move, right? And he's gonna go into his Amoonguss to take that. But no, instead he stays in, takes the Dragon Pulse, which was expected for his Amoonguss, and he retaliates back with an Ice Beam. So there we go. My Mega Pokemon is already out in the second turn of the game, or is it third? But yeah, Game of Throws! Oh my gosh. Epic fail! I facepalmed myself so hard right there. I probably had desk so hard that I wore like a face-shaped indentation on my desk. That's how hard I facepalmed. Or face desk? That's how you say it? Anyways, he's now switches into his Amoonguss finally. I go for that Willows because I know none of his Pokemon would appreciate one. Especially this Amoonguss because now it's residual damage versus this thing that is a wall. And how you defeat walls is residual damage. Now I just stay in right here, just seeing how much of defensive or especially defensive Pokemon he is, and seeing all that damage from Hex, I think he is a defensive Amoonguss. Or rather, he has a lot of defensive estimate. So he puts my Jellicent to sleep. I didn't want any other Pokemon in my team to go to sleep, so I let my Jellicent go to sleep because, yeah. And I bring in Guile, the American hero, the family man from Street Fighter, and I go threaten him out with Brave Bird. I predicted also his grass type move, which in this case is Giga Drain. So I take that really nicely because I'm a flying type. And braveries are surprisingly bulky because they have like 100 something HP. Anyways, he withdraws and he sends in feels, and that's exactly what I'm feeling about my 3DS right now. Look at the cracks on the side of my 3DS. It's even worse now. But anyways, I'll be fixed when my new 3DS comes in like 4 months, like not 4 months, but 4 weeks later on. Anyways, I'm bringing Ryan because I know that these guys tend to have physical sets because I have a physical what's it called again? I forgot. Something like that. Electrox, there you go. These guys tend to be physical, so I bring my physical wall in, and these guys are electric type, and the ground resists electric, so our periods can switch in. I think his Drain Punch really nicely, even though it's super effective, and I just set up rocks, which is great because now his team is gonna get residual damage, and that will be very important later on for my Spongerino. What's that jelly amoeba thing called again? I forgot what it's called. You'll see later on. Anyways, in comes Amoonguss, and this thing directly threatens me out. And I don't want to stay in versus this guy. But right here, yeah, I go for that withdrawal. I get out of here, and I bring in Polaris, my special defensive wall. And I could take a special move really comfortably because these guys, Seragonos, have lots of special bulk. And I just heal off his damage with leftovers. Delicious. And I can just retaliate back, threaten him out with an Ice Beam. So smoke me, 420 blaze it. Look at that! Look at this guy. He's like 420 blazing it because he's on fire, right? Because it's a mushroom as well. I go for that toxic, expecting a switch out. So I can just toxic any one of his Pokemon, but he chooses to stay in and go for a toxic himself, which is a good play in this part because now my wall is gonna residually lose HP, and that would be a lot of damage for a wall like me because I stay in for a long time. That's what walls are designed to be. But yeah, his Amoonguss is losing HP as well, so he probably has to switch out right now. And he's done his work of toxicking my Seragonal. So he goes into his Grand Ball, and this Grand Ball would obviously threaten me out because it's a freaking Grand Ball. Seragonals are like paper in terms of defense, and we can't really take a physical hit from a physical monster like this guy. Anyways, I go for the Toxic on the next Pokemon I bring in because I was expecting his Amoonguss to switch out, and he indeed does. And he brings in his Grand Ball. Toxic and Grand Ball's not that great, but damage is damage, whatever. So we're both right here, just like rolling on the floor, dying from like toxins, I guess. And that sucks for me because I'm wall, and I guess that's good for him. Not as damaging because he is a physical attacker. He's made to switch in and switch out. Anyways, I bring in my physical wall, and he goes for that Fire Punch, and unfortunately he went for that, because if he went for Play Rough, that would do slightly more damage to me. But I resist that because I'm a Rock type, and Ryan has defensive investment, and this isn't even my flawless Rhyperior. This Ryan right here, he's from Black and White, and from Black and White, you couldn't like make a Pokemon flawless easily without using Pokegen. I didn't use Pokegen. Anyways, I go for that Ice Punch, expecting his Amoonguss to switch, and I nailed that thing on a switch. That's a lot of damage, and unfortunately, he doesn't take it out because this guy has a defensive wall, most likely. But it dealt a lot of damage to this thing, and he can't take another one. But right here, I am trying to switch out because I don't want to take Giga Drain, and he would get all his HP back. All my hard work would be for nothing. So I'm bringing in my Seragonal again, Polaris, the Northern Star. That's what Polaris is from. That's my reference right there. And he goes for the Giga Drain as expected, and he is slowly losing HP to that burn. That HP that he got from Giga Drain from my Seragonal, it is neutralized by that burn he has. Also his Black Sludge as well, Black Sludge Recovery. And I am just right here threatening him with an Ice Beam, and I can just hit Ice Beam on his team like really comfortably because nothing in this team will like an Ice Beam, even though I have no special attack investment. So then comes Grand Ball, and I know Grand Balls have very low special defense, so I'm like, okay great, I can 2-hit KO this Grand Ball. And I can outspeed this Grand Ball as well because Grand Balls are very slow. I believe he has like 65 speed and Seragonals have 75 base speed. So given if we have no speed investment in both sides, I can outspeed this guy really easily. So I go for an Ice Beam. It's a comfortable 2-hit KO, like it's an overkill even. And I could just take out this Grand Ball really nicely. And actually my defensive wall, or special defensive wall rather, takes out the Pokemon, which is quite surprising because they're not made to take out Pokemon. So that was Grand Ball. That is a great, because Granbull would really wreck any Pokemon on my team, and he would do quite a bit of damage with Play Rough, because Granbulls tend to be banded, and banded Granbulls are nothing to mess around with, even though those guys are like NU. They still do pretty decent in RU. So then comes Feels, the current feeling right now, because my freaking 3DS is dead, my current 3DS of 4 years. But, you know, it's gonna join my other, game, like Nintendo devices, like my Game Boy Advance and my Game Boy Color. Anyways, he goes for that Drain Punch once again, just dealing very little damage to Ryan, but he is doing damage still. But I can retaliate back with a Mega Horn and destroy this eel, do a lot of damage to it at least. So he goes for a knockoff as well, which knocks off my leftovers. So it does way more damage because it's a crit, and because he gets that damage boost from me holding an item. Anyways, go for that Mega Horn, does a pretty decent chunk of damage to this guy, like 45%, and we're just lugging it out to the death. My Rhyperior survives with 7 HP, he's a fighter, he's here to stay for one more turn, and I go for the Mega Horn, just dealing quite a bit more damage to this field, and it's easily revenge killable, or revenge KOable, by any other Pokemon I bring in. So Ryan has done his job well, he's held those physical hits and has done damage in return. He's a true tank in Pokemon terms. So I bring in Guile, the American hero. He's a family man, and he's here to be a family man and take you out. Sonic Boom! So I go for that Brave Bird, not Sonic Boom, because it's actually a Pokemon move. And I take out that Feels, that Electros. There you go, that's the name of that thing. And Daddy Bae sends out Sea-Chimp, and Sea-Chimp has quite a bit of HP left. So right here my plan is to do as much damage as possible to the remaining Pokemon of Daddy Bae, and then sweep with my Reuniclus. That's the name! Oh my gosh, it's not the Namiva, it's not like Sponge or anything, it's not Jellicent, it's Reuniclus, yes. Anyways, this guy nukes me with Draco Meteor, and now if you hadn't known yet, Dragalge has its special ability, and that's Adaptability. And Adaptability doubles any stab moves, and a stab Draco Meteor is absolute destruction. Anyways, I'm losing right now. I'm facing 34 Pokemon, I believe. And I have 2 more Pokemon left, my Jellicent and my Reuniclus. But if everything goes right, I should be able to sweep with my Reuniclus. Anyways, my Jellicent pulls through, survives a knockoff with 4 HP, wow! Even though this guy is probably max attack and life orb, I survived that. I go for that burn, I hit it, and now this Glade's crippled. So yeah, props to you, my Jellicent, for surviving that Bermuda. Props. Anyways, he goes for a Psycho Cut, seeking to knock me out, and down goes Bermuda. And my Pokemon has been pulling through these days with those survival. My Rhyperior survived with like very little HP and dealt damage, and now my Jellicent survived with very little HP and survived, and crippled this guy. Anyways, my second last Pokemon comes out, and I'm just gonna Brave Bird anything that comes in, just to like do damage to anything, and just to weaken the several Pokemon that are left, because I am planning to sweep with my Reuniclus. Now, if you don't know my Reuniclus set, I've used it quite a bit back in X and Y. I would go for that Trick Room, then I am Modest and Life Orb, and I'll just sweep with a Modest Life Orb sweep with my Reuniclus, with Psyshock, Shadow Ball, and Focus Blast. And that tends to cover every Pokemon's, that has pretty good coverage. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. That's pretty good coverage versus anything that my opponent has. So I am just weakening my opponent's team right now. Sea-Chimp gets dealt a ton of damage with my Brave Bird. He goes for that Sludge Wave, just not, I guess not going for the Draco Meteor, because he doesn't want to lower his special attack, because he's saving his Draco Meteor for my last really bulky Pokemon, which is my Spongerino. Excuse me, I burped there. My Reuniclus. So he goes for Sludge Wave. I guess he's not like Life Orb or anything. He is banded. I mean, not banded, but Specs. Anyways, I survive one hit. I can take that poison really well because I have Magic Guard and I don't take damage to anything other than attacks. And I can go for that Trick Room, then Shadow Ball, and the last Pokemon that Daddy Bae has left is his Jellicent. Now, is this Jellicent a special wall or a physical wall? I can go either for Psyshock, which deals more damage on a weaker defensive side, or I can go for Shadow Ball, which is super effective versus this Jellicent. But he survives on like, I don't know, like 10 HP and knocks me out with a Scald. So if I went for Psyshock right there, I could have potentially won because this guy's a special defensive wall. And I'm like, damn, this battle was so close. I could have won if I went for Psyshock. But anyways, a very close, very intense battle of Daddy Bae. If I had my freaking Sceptile, if I hadn't like thrown him away in the first 2 turns of the battle, I would have probably won, but you know, I didn't know how that went. But anyways, Daddy Bae won. GG, man, good job. And oh yeah, check out his channel, guys. If you because he has like he has a Pokemon channel as well. I don't think he's uploading right now though. Anyways, I'm waiting for my new 3DS to come in with that capture card. So stay tuned for that. In the meantime, I'm gonna upload like other stuff, like I don't know, Pokemon Showdown. But I'm not gonna be uploading as much because I don't have a freaking 3DS to upload because the screen is dead. Anyways, folks, I hope you enjoyed this battle. I'll leave a like, comment, subscribe if you did, and I'll see you folks next time.